Welcome, folks, to the next installment of the Dismount Podcast. And today we are discussing episode 38, Self-Scientist. Where did our instinct go? All right, today's lesson, talks, speech, all that fun stuff that we're going to be doing today rails down on what does it mean to be a self-scientist? In what ways have you treated your mind, body as a subject in an experiment? If your life is an experiment, what kind of theory are you trying to prove to yourself or others? Do you tend to focus a lot of your growth on your mind, body, spirit, or a blend of the three? Which one do you value most? What areas of life, self, are you interested in pursuing? What would it look like to be a master self-scientist? And last but not least, is there a downside to being a good self-scientist? So, right off the bat, Tit, what is a scientist for us, man?
Scientist for us, as in the definition, or for me?
Just the definition, and then hit me with what your vibe is.
Okay, so scientist is a person. This is coming from Wikipedia. Shout out to Wikipedia. I still trust it. A scientist is a person who researches to advance knowledge in any area of the natural sciences. In classical antiquity, there's no real ancient analog of a modern scientist. Instead, philosophers engaged in a philosophical study of nature called natural philosophy. It's a precursor of natural science, though Thales was arguably the first scientist for describing how cosmic events may be seen as natural, not necessarily caused by the gods. It wasn't until the 19th century that the term scientist came into regular use, after it was coined by the theologian and philosopher and historian of science, Willem Wellel, in 1833. Now, I may have said his name wrong,
dude.
But to me, it's I consider myself a self-scientist, and I consider myself the observer. We have our independent variables for everyone watching. In case you need a refresher, independent variables, the thing that changes. Dependent variables, the thing that doesn't change, which you're usually measuring, also known as the control. And then you're trying to find out if your hypothesis is correct, your assumptions. If I move this water bottle over, is it going to fall? No. If I hit it a little harder, yeah. I changed the independent variable.
Wait, you meant to do that?
I changed the independent variable slightly, but the water bottle stayed the same, and so did I. But I see it as it's the individual who's going to try to push their limits. Or they pushing their limits or testing the waters to see interpersonally, intrapersonally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, mentally is kind of the same thing as interpersonally. But I want to see if can I push myself to become different for the better. Now, certainly I can go down the rabbit hole and, go down the dark side, but I want to see if I can get better. So I consider myself a self-scientist in the way I want to push my limits.
Yeah, for me, self-scientist was like the living trial and error your just entire existence. Like, you're constantly doing things, and you are going to fail a ton. And I've witnessed, I've felt it, I've experienced it, of just constantly falling on your face. But like that picking yourself back up and putting yourself back in the ring, man, dude, you just became so much stronger. You learned. And like me being a self-scientist for myself is so focused on just like constantly trying to find that awareness quicker and quicker and quicker. Mm-hmm. So you go through life, you do the things that you do on a daily basis, but that awareness or that I'll call it 0.0 of just literally like that 0 point where you now, oh shit, okay. Like I could be so down here or I could be so up here, but like being at that present moment, just fully being locked into it, that to me is like the self-scientist.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I kept coming back to curiosity and courage were the two words that came up most when I'm thinking about this. Like you got to be curious enough to go out and try different things, and then you got to be courageous enough, like you said. Like I think I've had issues with it because like I have this like complex of like I'm too good to fail, which is fucking tough, dude.
Yeah.
But like it is a little bit of that is like it's like you have to be courageous in the sense like to find out how your systems are going to run best. You have to be courageous enough to know that you're going to fail and be okay with that. Like you're not going to die. No one's going to die. It's not a life and death situation. But like, I mean, if we go, I'm thinking about our ride in April already. Like we were in the gym yesterday. I'm like doing the rowing machine. I was doing leg workouts. Bro, my legs are so weak. I thought like for years of biking, my legs would be strong. I got these two freaking like tank legs that I've just like I've had forever, and I'm in there
Two
doing
honey baked hams there.
dude.
you
I
know?
got two. Is that what it's called? What's the like can you go to like a honey baked ham? You know you can go to like one of those places.
They have one right on McKnight Road.
Yeah, have you ever been there?
There's a place that just sell hams.
It's called honey baked ham.
It's
all they do.
You know where the Pool City is on McKnight Road?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's called honey baked ham. You go and you can get like it's like Boston Market. You can just go and get like, oh, I want a ham sandwich.
Yeah, but
Crazy.
you literally can just roll in there and like so like the already pre-cut like spiral ham, like they do it, but they do the honey baked version. They do all these different like there'll be all these different versions of just you roll in, you could just get a ham, dude, that day. if
The
you wanted
honey
to.
baked ham. You can get meals. You can get a honey baked turkey. Dude, it's like Boston Market. You get mac and cheese. You can get like little sandwiches. You can.
I only know that because that was
They have a
when I was a
barbecue
lot
rib
attendant.
dinner. Oh, sorry.
No, you're cool. When I was a lot attendant, that was the gift that they would give all the entire like all of their workforce. Rourke Cadillac would get, or Rourke in general would give a coupon to you to go get a honey baked ham. Like that was like your Christmas present or like Thanksgiving.
I'm
like
getting so hungry.
Yeah, I know, dude. Shit. But no, I think about how I was in the gym and I'm gonna get ready for like I was focused on April. I'm like, okay, cool. 3 months. Like I can make a very noticeable difference if I start right now. And I want to get on the bike soon. I got to catch up with you this week. Actually, I'm thinking about it. Like we need to clean out the gears. I got to get my shit oiled up because I got to get on. The weather's starting to break a little bit. But thinking about it is like, dude, like. You're gonna have to be courageous enough to go out there and fail and understand when you get on the leg press and you know people who do 350 on the leg press and you're out there doing 70 because you haven't done it in years. Like no matter what you think the bike does, like you have to be courageous enough to not only know you're gonna fail, but know you have to start small too to like figure out whatever that is or build up to. And like that's tough for me, man. Like I'm such a like big picture person that I always try to like digest. Like I even do what I'm eating. Like I'll just like I take like a huge bite or like I won't even like chew it. It's like I don't even chew the fucking food or just swallow, and like that's like a microcosm to my life sometimes. That's what stinks is like it has to be in digestible portions and it has to be okay with the fact that like you're going to screw this up to get to where you want to go.
Well, I think about it, it's just so funny is like in being a self-scientist, you're striving for perfection. Like you're striving to what you're going after, that hypothesis, like you want it to be spot on. You want it to be the correct guess, and you want to make the perfect estimate. But like
that's not it. It is. That's right. It's literally the goal. If I'm looking at this from like the right perception, it's like the goal isn't perfection at all. There's no room for perfection in this situation. It's,
right.
It's always going to be little tinkers and little like this and that. And that's like you're one of the most curious people I know. Like that's why it works for you. Like I can see that in you. For me, it's like if I can't get it right the first time, I don't fucking want to do it.
Well, forget that.
Yeah, well, see, like you see me, we work on like editing, and I'm like, this is so fucking stupid. But like to me, it's like I want to get it right now. And I got to be better about that. But like those are the things like you have to understand the goal isn't that you're going to be perfect that time.
Yeah, it's the consistent process or the continuing of improving to try to be that. But if you become that, like to me, like I sit here and like that was like the negative that I would throw out way later is like, and I shouldn't throw it out now, but like that to me was kind of like the striving for the perfection and losing the entire essence of what you were doing. Like that goes against all of this. So like, in what ways have you treated your mind as a subject and experiment? Oh, me personally, man. Like for instance, last year, I've talked about this before, but going to the War at the Shore, like lacrosse tournament. Dude, I thought, oh yeah, man, I was a kid who had a D1 scholarship offer back in the day. Like I've been biking hundreds of miles. Like I'm good, man. I'm gonna go into this. I literally I'm playing wall ball for a month before I go. I'm like, oh man, my stick skills are still here. Like we're great. Dude, I get one run up the field, down the field, and did not go back on offense. I ran right off the field because I was like, oh my God, game speed is a completely different thing.
Yep.
So like you were just absolutely floored. Just recently going and doing a pickleball tournament. I'm thinking, oh yeah, man, I'm real good at pickleball. This is gonna be great. Or I'm starting out in like the real low division. Like, man, we're gonna go in there. It's gonna be great. We're gonna compete like at a high level. Same bullshit that we all thought when we were all sitting together at the Airbnb and we're all throwing the ball around. And like, I wasn't a part of the W&J lacrosse team, but that's who I joined up with to go to this tournament. And like, we're all like, this is gonna be great, man. We're gonna be awesome. Like, we're gonna do some serious shit tomorrow. And then just none of that happened. And the pickleball tournament, 0-4, like should not have lost the last game. First game was all my fault. Next couple games, we should not have lost. But yeah, just hilarious, like those moments of like, and I've talked about my first time like doing a 100-mile bike ride and how I literally just like turned myself rigor mortis almost, like sitting in a bathtub with just ice completely over top of me and a full Minio's pizza, like just trying to like put the pieces of myself back together. So like for me, that's where like, for me, I've treated my body like arguably not like a temple. And now that's something that I'm trying to focus on is like really having that awareness of like, all right, man, sure, you could David Goggin yourself right now. And I'm going to keep that. I love that term because that's fucking hilarious. But you could David Goggin yourself right now, or you could sit back, think about what you just did to yourself, you know, process what you just did. How do you actually feel at this point in time? All right, next time we're going to push, we're going to rev up a little bit harder. But like for you, Tit, like where has this come in of like treating your mind and body as like an experiment?
Also have to shout out for that lacrosse moment. That happened to me twice. I jumped from high school and my brother's like, hey, join in with our like college, like, you know, lax summer league. It's going to be, you know, it's like a beer league. It's nothing, no big deal. I come in. I didn't want to play after. I played like the first few plays. I was like, holy shit, am I bad? Same thing happened to me whenever I went up to Slippery Rock and played my first like practice. I'm like, yeah, I was like, you know, one of the best players on my team. Our team was one of the worst in PA. So like we're the second to last. But I had to shout that out just because it's hilarious. For my body, I think like I've done a lot of experiment. Tit was actually there for my first like body experiment. I think you probably remember you're probably about my same size, and I think you played running back, right? Or
I didn't end up playing football in high school.
But for 8th grade, you probably had to follow the weight restrictions.
Yeah, I wasn't able to. Until 7th and 8th grade. Like, I always wanted to play running back, so I was like killing myself to be like get down into weight to like either do that or tight end. I wanted to do tight end too, and I could not get myself down until 8th grade. They finally pulled off the weight restrictions, and anybody could play any sport or any position. And they were like, "We're gonna put you in at running back," and I was just like. I played a couple downs and I was like, man, I'm kind of good at this, but I'm fucking annoyed that it took until now. And it was, I was such a little bitch about it too. I was like, nah, I'm not being the running back anymore. And it was just like, what a dumbass. Like you just look back on yourself at like 8th grade. You're like, dude, you were given the opportunity. And then honestly, I was pretty good at it. And they were talking to me about like what I was going to do in high school and like how they were going to build me up and all that type of stuff. And I don't think I've talked about this before on here, but like I went to the first 2 days practice over the summer and some dudes everybody went in to go literally like take their showers and clean up after the day. And like 8 dudes like literally surrounded this one kid who was my age and just started pissing on him. And it was called a golden shower. And I was like, this is what happens around here. And they're like, yeah, man, it's initiation. Like he's in the squad now. And I'm like, so I got to get pissed on by a bunch of guys to be initiated? This is the gayest shit I've respectfully, this is this is the lamest shit I've ever
way to
heard
turn
of.
that around.
I literally quit right then and there, dude. I was like, nah, this is not who I want to be a part
fair,
of.
in the literal translation, that is kind of gay. But in a derogatory way, not gay. But in a literal sense, yes. But 8th grade for me, I had to drop what I was at 142 and I had to get to 128. I think it was 128 or 129. Tit knew me when I was in 8th grade. I didn't have anything to lose. So I had to get experimental, like, what can I change? I was doing everything I could. I was spitting in bottles on the way to there. I was wearing trash bags under my equipment to lose water weight. Tit saw me turn as red as that hat on your shirt.
Holy
I just
cow.
about fell over on the day of. I was eating salads, only water coming in, water, salad, and like Nutrigrain bars for 2 weeks. While I was still going to practice every single day, and we're still going to play football games, but I'm just starving. I mean, Tit did it for rowing too. Just starving and exhausting myself.
So crazy. There is no way they should be allowing 13-year-old boys to do what they do.
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy.
Nuts. It's nuts, dude. Even in high school, when I was like 16, I had to cut weight for rowing. Like, we weren't bad enough to be the heavyweight rowers. We had to be lightweight to compete, and that's fine. Like, we could cut the weight. Some guys just couldn't do it. There's no way. And like, we'd sit around, John Ryan and I, like, share like a candy bar, and that would be our meal for the day. I wouldn't go home and eat anything. Like, that would be it.
That's bonkers.
Dude, like, should not be okay. That is not an okay thing to do. We didn't give a shit though. Like, you know, it's something you at least you had a couple people with you doing it. But like, do you think of like 13-year-olds? Like, all you did was sweat your ass off and then go to Ponderosa and put it all back on anyway.
I had to do it all over again.
Yeah,
I missed it by a pound, so I had to do it all over again like a month later, and it was horrible both times. But I got through it.
So when you say you had to weigh in, like, you just weighed in once and then you were good, or did you have to weigh in before every game? Because that was what I used to have to do.
Oh, no way.
So every Saturday would be our games, and you had to weigh in every Saturday. So
That's ridiculous.
There was the skilled position. So we'll say, like, I definitely don't remember the exact numbers, but we'll say like the skilled positions, you had to be under 140. And then anything to be in that division in general, you had to be under 160 or 165. So you only had a 25-pound weight. Like, there wasn't much to where you had to be under that to be able to just even be in the league in general. So like, to just be like literally like a defensive end or like a lineman, I would have to go Saturday mornings. My mom and I would go super early because you were allowed to get there at like 6 a.m. to weigh in because you're later in the morning. And she would drive me to whatever freaking school we were playing at. I would weigh in to be able to play later that day. And then instantaneously, my mom and I would beeline it right to, it used to be called Christian's Grill. It was one of her great friends' ex-husband had a grill in 84 PA down by Trax Farm. And he made a damn good Italian sandwich, Italian hoagie, man. And I would get an Italian hoagie from him, and I would just crush the entire thing. And like, right after weighing in, and then I'd get to the game, and my dad would give me like energy drinks, and then every game you just see me on the defensive line just bouncing, literally vibrating, and then you just watch the kid across me just get pancaked. And it was just like, holy shit, this kid is, what kind of energy is this kid on?
Zach was probably the kid in 8th grade who picked me up and carried me off the field and threw me into the opposing team's bench.
Yeah.
That happened. That's when I knew I was done, bro. I was not light enough to play a skill position, and I was not heavy enough to hold my own on the line. I was thankfully next to Dave Silverman. He was big enough to take care
Dave
of
was insane.
both assignments, so they put me next to him on the line. But there were times he couldn't help me out, man, and I would be like, I think I was playing defense, and I don't remember what it was, like maybe linebacker or like defensive end or something. And I think the tackle, someone built like Dave, dude, Hike picks me up by my shoulder pads, like right under the chest, and carries me off and throws me off the fucking, they had proven a point or something to somebody. It's probably you. It's definitely you.
That's my cousin.
Yeah, I'm sure, dude. Yeah, I'm sure. Absolutely. That kid had fucking a horrible credit score in 8th grade, dude. This guy was built like a 60-year-old man, dude. 2 divorces. But no, I mean thinking back like through we were just talking about like body and mind whatever it may be like I think as far as I go like it is nice to see when you make a change like whether it's thinking about going to the gym or like diets or anything and like God I just want to become more like I guess attracted or like excited about those changes. Like sometimes I'm like, oh man, I feel good today, and then I'll just go and still eat freaking whatever dog shit food I come up with. I'm like, oh, I feel good. That now time for a treat because I feel great, and it just you ruin like that shit. So like. I'm thinking of like exercise or even like I knew like the smoothies getting back in like the last week or so. Like I'm doing like just simple like fruit, juice, little powder on my way, and I'm like, oh dude, like there is a noticeable difference. So like little tweaks like that, like I'm trying to get excited about, and make it so like I want to continue to do those things as opposed to like, oh cool, I feel good now. Let's ruin it. I'm guilty of it, man. Like I do it all the time. So like whether it's like not only like feeling good, but like even like emotions. Like sometimes I wonder like, dude, like a good night's sleep. Holy shit. Like I've been listening to you just talk about like whatever your freaking astral plane woo woo wherever you're going when you're sleeping.
It's been pretty wild recently.
Yeah. But I mean, well, I'm also thinking about like in general, like you bringing up how important you have felt sleep has been to you. Like even when we come over on Mondays and work in the pod, it's like, no, like I'm usually out by 9 anyway, but you're like, no, when you leave, I'm going to bed. And I'm like, I'm going to bed. I'm going home. I'm going to eat something. I'm going to like stare at the TV. I'm going to look down. It's going to be 12:30. And then like maybe I'll consider going to bed. But even just waking up recently, like I definitely don't realize how important sleep is until I get it. And not even just one night, like a few nights in a row, dude, it's incredible. Like even just like when you hit your 30s, man, you don't realize how important that shit actually is. You can't just 4 hours of sleep. I was drinking last night. Let's roll. That is not a possibility anymore.
Yeah, the thing I'm working towards on that is like right now, like I need to focus on getting deep sleep and long sleep and restful sleep. But I'm trying to get to the place where like all I got to do is sleep 4 hours and I'm completely regenerated.
That's
like,
crazy.
That to
I can't
me
do that
sounds
at all.
legit because like I only got 24 hours in a day, and if I'm only using 4 of those for sleep, like I'm pretty jazzed if if I can go for 20 hours and only need 4 hours of rest, I'm feeling great about that existence. But like right now I'm like spending so much time sleeping is like I feel like I'm not like I only get this opportunity to be out here. Like I can be in that astral plane, that different realm for the rest of my existence. Cause like that was something that was going to be like one of my next comments in terms of like, if your life is an experiment, what kind of theory are you trying to prove? And mine would just honestly be like, it's so fucking lame, but like just not giving a fuck at all. Honestly, just not giving a fuck at all about anything that happens to you, like not being attached to really anything. And I know that sounds like, well, then what the hell is your actual experience at that point in time if you're not attached to, the animals that you have in your life, the relationships that you have, the people who you are. And it's like, it's not that I don't have that connection. It's that I'm not putting the weight on it to where the backpack is getting filled to where if that is no longer in my life, I'm now just completely bonked and zonked and just crushed. But I know that's like, it's not exactly, I don't know. It's a bold phrase.
What was 4 Agreements, the only book I've read since I've been an adult. What was that? What's the don't take things personally?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like that's a little bit of that. Like it's like I do that a lot where I put this emotional weight of everything is my fault, everything's controlled by me, every this, that. Like I am the most important person to everyone in their lives. Every decision I make influences every single person I know. Like that's a little narcissistic probably. Like it's crazy to think that like I do attach it because like I am very mindful of people around me, but I do appreciate the way you said that too, because I think there is a little bit of like, if I'm so worried about like every little decision or every little engagement or every little relationship, like you're probably, you were just talking about earlier, like just going with the flow in general. And like I think like that, once you're able to like kind of fine tune yourself, like you do like the setup for the podcast or whatever, like cool, I got all my everything littered, and then you just do it. And that's it. And like not so much weight on everything. Like if you're truly aligned with yourself, you don't have to worry about all those things.
Yeah. My biggest thing is like living like water. Like honestly being like water. Cause like, I mean, if you think about it, like water's pretty freaking wild, dude. Like water can permeate really through anything. Like it just literally just permeates through it all. Like
It could be in any state, like gas,
Yeah,
solid,
it's
liquid. Yeah.
so water, like I want to live my life as free flowing like water. And that's like the biggest thing of like that's where like the not giving a fuck at all, like and it's just to me like free flowing through life and being present in every opportunity and not like okay, well, I'm I'm going to a Super Bowl party at Titty's house and I'm worrying about what tomorrow's going to bring at work on Monday. And oh shit, later this week I got to do this, this and that. No, I want to be at that party and I want to be fully present and I want to be just in those conversations, in that connection and all that type of stuff.
Yeah.
And that's hard.
It's so tough, man. Like when we were at your place where we went to house the other night, and like I was reading or I read or maybe listened to something on the way to your place that like had me in that moment of like, I think we were walking on your base. I was looking around. I was like, man, I'm in Brandon's house, man. This is like really cool. And I was just kind of just like taking it in from it. I don't do that at all. And like those things go by and like, or like I'm guilty of even like looking back and you know, like, oh, today was tough, or like, oh, wake up, oh, blah 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 blah, and you get in this rhythm like, oh man, geez, like fucking victim mentality bullshit or whatever it might be, and then you look back on the year and like, I don't remember any of those things. I just remember all the like, cool shit I got to do or all the good memories. So like, why am I so focused on that bullshit? You know, in like, and that's just probably like survival instinct of like, okay, I just gotta make sure I'm all nothing bad's happening, shit. And then I look back and like, I don't remember doing that at all. So why in that moment is that how my brain's operating? It's so fucking frustrating.
Yeah, why am I letting that take control?
Yeah, crazy, dude, crazy. But you know, you find yourself guilty of it, and that's tough. But like, I think like even hanging out at your house or like you're going to the Super Bowl party, like that's fucking interesting for you. Like, oh, I don't really like football. I don't really like drinking. I'm like, don't really like Kendrick Lamar. Don't really like this. And you're like, yeah, I like my friends. And like, that's sometimes like, that's enough too. And like, that's cool for you to be able to like set that aside, but also like just find reasons to be present anyway. And like, that's a goal of mine too. Like even the podcast, like sitting here and like actually like, I know it sounds ridiculous, but like actually listening and actually thinking through your thought process and like reading your notes beforehand to like truly like, and that could be like even the scientist, you know, bit itself is like trying to like tune everything to the point where I know I can perform at my best, whatever that might be.
What are you trying to prove, Tit? He says, damn.
Hey,
Did you guys read my notes on that?
No. No, you want to read your notes for you?
So I think a big part of me is I'm trying to prove to myself a sense of worthiness and competence. I like that Tit earlier said about courage and curiosity, because those two things are kind of actually like, those are like big structures in my life that I don't really think about. It's just subconscious. But I think I often am trying to prove to myself, I've been surrounded by great people who are talented at things that I'm not talented, which is a gift and a burden in the sense of, well, we'll use my brothers as an example. Both are older than me, so I'm surrounded by my two closest peers that I grow up with that start off smarter and stronger than me right off. As soon as I'm born, they're already stronger and smarter. So I'm always working my way up. And then I get surrounded by people who are better. Good example, when I went to 8th grade with Derek, everyone played chess. I was like, I guess everyone plays chess. I'm like, what the hell? So then I come over, I suck at chess. But then, you know, week after week, we play it. So I'm like, I got to get better. So like, I feel like I'm always kind of chasing someone or something, or I put myself in circumstances to get better. But that's the whole reason, like, even when I work out, usually for high school, I'd find somebody, and even Slippery Rock, find someone stronger than me. Hey, will you work out with me? Yeah, sure. Just because I want to chase them. But I feel like I'm always trying to get better and build references. And in my notes, I mentioned this guy, Tony Robbins. He talks about in an old book I read, Awaken the Giant Within. I went through the whole book, and it's kind of like you read it, some of it, you apply some of it, take notes on some of it. But I'm always trying to build references, things to be like, hey, here's proof to yourself that you're as smart as you want to be. Or here's proof to yourself you're where you are at in life that you actually like work towards. I think we, on the note of being mindful, I think we all kind of forget like, oh yeah, here's how far I've traveled. Instead, you're just fixated on what's next. And to me, that is kind of a tug and pull situation or push and pull. What's next? What have I accomplished? So I'm always trying to prove my own sense of self and like worthiness. So,
Dude, I saw your notes on this one, and I was like, he's got to speak because it's just absolute pure gold as usual from this son of a bitch. Like, just absolutely brings out the heat every single time. Like, going into like, what do you focus more on then with the three: the mind, the body, and the spirit?
So I would say, just off of my temperament, like I focus more on the mind, and then it's followed by spirit and body. But then as far as what I find effective is actually a little bit contrary. I think if you focus on your body, for me, if you focus on your body, then the other two come a lot easier. Like as soon as I hit the gym, what I do is I'll put in, I don't know which section I put it in of our notes, but this is where it applies best. Whenever I work out, I will listen to YouTube. I'll listen to music. I even listen to a little Hans Zimmer. I might be like listening to Batman music. I might be listening to some crazy shit. But like, honestly, for me, it starts with the body. And with meditation, all of that always starts with my body. I'm literally shutting down parts of my body and trying to tune in. With working out, I'm trying to set my mind straight or set my priorities or learn something while I'm working out. I think people who don't listen to music are a little bit crazy. Or if you don't listen to anything, it's like, so you're just a sadist. You just like experiencing that pain and not trying to like bond with your body. To me, I'm kind of bonding with my body whenever I work out. It's like a form of self-love. I'm trying to push my limits, but also I'm like preventing things like arthritis, dementia. I'm trying to use my body as a catalyst to just live a better life or trying to have a better experience while I'm here.
Dude, I love that. That is such a great way to look at it because I'm coming from the complete opposite end of the spectrum. My main focus is the spirit or the soul. Mm-hmm. And I'm focused on like cultivating that energy and that connection. But I have this realization and gratitude that this existence that I have right now is not in existence if it's not with the mind and the body too. Like that soul, like you think about it, this realm that we're in right here, right now, someone could walk up to you, literally blow your head off, and that's the end of your existence in this realm. But when you go to bed, like how many times maybe have you experienced like you die or someone that you know dies, like in a dream or in that astral plane, and like you wake up and you're like, oh my gosh, did I just, what the hell just happened there? And then you literally fall back asleep and you're right back like, oh, my avatar's back up, pop. Like that's it's freaking Mario.
That's the weird, those are the weird ones. I've experienced that. I've like experienced my father's death, like vividly. I'm like, yo, okay. And then not only that, the one that's like I find interesting is like when you brought up, and I've had it too, of dreaming, waking up, going, what is going on? And then going right back in, bro. Like that doesn't like make sense that you can just pop right back into me. Like that's like, that's a wild thought to like where I've had those like conversations myself. Like, I mean, I feel like I'm going somewhere else.
It's crazy. I started taking that Ormus on that Monday when you guys were here. And I knocked over that plant trying to turn this TV on or change the freaking shit. Like you're cleaning up after me and I'm sitting here like, he looks at me and goes like, dude, what's going on with you? And I'm like, I'm like vibrating right now, man. Like I'm like, I don't know what's going on with me right now, but I feel freaking weird. And so I went to bed that night. Obviously, like I had been smoking up until that point. So like I got to get some of that out of me and whatnot. I got to clean myself out. Dude, I started that on Monday. Saturday is when I went and took a nap at like, I don't know, it was like 2, 3 in the afternoon. I was like, I'm just going to go take a quick nap. Like, I'm feeling absolutely bonked right now. I go take a nap, and I fall asleep into this vivid, lucid, I'm on like, I feel like I'm at like, I've never been to it before, but I want to go so bad. It's called The Gorge out in Oregon, and it's this absolutely sick concert venue. But I just feel like I'm laying on a hillside, like I'm at the Gorge, and I'm just in this beautiful grass, and the wind's just blowing and the grass feels amazing. It's like perfectly cut around me to where like the grass is a little bit taller, so I'm feeling all that, but like right where I'm at is just like this cut piece that I'm just laying in, and I'm looking at the sky, and like honestly the sky just like opened up like the Civic Arena, like literally just opened up, and I was just like tripping balls at this point because like I haven't eaten any magic mushrooms, I haven't smoked any weed, this is literally just me in tune with what? And the sky just opens up and I just see like planets and stars and spaceships and all this crazy shit. And I'm just like, what in the Sam frickin' hell? Like, never experienced anything like this, like, off of anything. And that has just led into these crazy dreams of like, I've talked about it maybe once before of like, my dreams growing up from like 13 until I started smoking heavily in my mid-20s, dude, I lived the Bourne Identity like every night. And I'm actually going to watch that movie today. I went into my DVDs and I pulled it out. I'm watching that movie.
I've never really gave those movies a chance.
Same.
They're wild.
Not a Matt Damon.
They're absolutely wild.
Matt Damon, he's just one of those punchable faces type people. Matt Damon, if you're listening to the podcast, I'd like to punch you in the face.
He's like, all right, only if I do it first.
He says blow for blow. Are you ready?
Who? Me and Matt Damon? He
Yeah.
just texted you?
No. But yeah, he said blow for blow. Are you ready?
Could I
It's like a slap off, but it's a punch off.
Okay. Who goes first?
Right hand each.
No. It's literally you got to roll the dice.
Okay, he's 54 years old.
Have you seen him punch in those movies? You probably should watch the movies before
I will
you
tell
take
you,
that.
he does look like he has a very strong chin. You guys want to take a quick peek?
Oh, no.
That's a strong chin.
I
That
know
is-
exactly
Now,
what-
now it does
we
it does
know.
stick out a little bit. So if you hit the button, like anyone can go down.
He says if you hit the button,
But I don't.
this guy's trained before.
I don't
But,
think
like-
I don't think I can knock Matt Damon out. Sorry, continue.
Dude, I spent all those years like having these crazy vivid dreams of like living the Bourne Identity of like some like 3-letter agency that you can't tell on the driving in black SUVs all the time are coming after me, and I'm just like every night I'd wake up in like a freaking sweat and just like, what the fuck? And then fall and be like, I got to put myself back to sleep, and then put myself back to sleep, right back in it. You're like, what the shit? I remember one of the stories, one of the dreams. I saved my dad. I hotwire like a church van, like a big 15-passenger church van. My dad's literally hanging out like this, what would be like the back door. I'm Tokyo drifting through this city that we're trying to get away from these 3 black SUVs
This dude
behind
just
us.
combined 3 of the top movies of the early 2000s all in one dream.
And he opened the door. He's pulling out whatever's in the back, ripping out seats, trying to throw them back at. We finally like get away. I skirt around this turn, and my dad goes flying out into this like creek that's along the side, like bank, like a cartoon. You know, he pops up out of the water. He's like, "What the fuck was that for?" I don't know, but get the fuck back in the van. We gotta get out of here. Like, sorry, let's go. So like, that's what I experienced for literally probably 10 years. Just crazy. And it wasn't every single night, like, but it was damn near every single night was something
What
crazy.
did that feel like to you? Like, did you ever like? I don't know, man. I'll listen to that. Like, I never dreamed like that. My dreams they've never been great.
I was too stupid and unaware at that point in time. I didn't even know what spirituality was at that age, you know?
But like, I'd be just like ready. I'm trying to go to sleep every night, you know?
Well, you go to sleep thinking like, all right, this isn't going to happen again. And then you wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning and you're just in a freaking sweat and you're like,
Yeah.
fudge, it happened again.
Yeah.
Damn, what am I just going to go away? And so like this past 2 weeks of now being like just on that Ormus stuff and doing that at night and before bed and then first thing in the morning, dude, I have had a couple dreams like those old ones, and I woke up and was like, no sweat, no fear, no nothing. Oh yeah, that was fucking sick.
Yeah.
And then just like literally lay back down and was like, let's go back in. And just like in these like Roman pantheon like buildings with these massive columns, and I know I have some type of like sharpshooter pistol, and I'm just like pow pow pow. Like you don't see these people dying, but like I'm totally just taking sons of a bitches out. Like it's like, what the fuck is going on, man?
Yeah.
This is crazy. And so now like that's something that I would love to like, is there actually some type of meaning behind this? Like, is there anything here, or am I just crazy, dude?
Yeah. I don't know. I like the you ever see the Bob's Burgers episode where Gene writes the perfect song in his dream and then he wakes up and forgets it?
I know. Okay. Yep.
That's every episode or every dream I've ever had in my entire life. It's like, dude, and that's the frustrating. I swear there's like I'm also really I struggle with journaling. The pod helps, but dream journaling is like maybe the next step for me because like I have these crazy dreams. I swear I have meaning, but I never fucking remember them. And like watching that
how
episode,
do you think you'd be able to? Do you think like a little like popping your phone and like having like a light by your bed?
I need
I
need an old school tape recorder where I hit record and go February 2nd, 2025. I just dreamed that 3 tacos were chasing me down the street.
Bong.
We couldn't go the whole episode without it.
Get back here, sour cream.
Yeah. Oh man, they're just gonna keep chasing me, man. I got. Maybe I should turn around and do the chasing. No, but I do think about that, and not to go too far off the subject, but yeah, like the dreaming situation, man. I think that's like that's something I want to lean more into of like trying to figure out like when I do this, what do I drink? Because it's all subconscious and like it typically is like it's always been something that like has been on my mind. Like I don't dream out of left field very often, so it's usually something that like has been present and I would just like to have a better understanding because I think that goes back into like like mind, body, soul, whatever it might be. Like there's a lot to it for me, and I've never taken the time to truly try to understand that.
On top of that, what would you say you're pursuing then?
Pursuing wise,
As a self-scientist.
yeah, I mean, like right now, I think like the biggest thing for me is like I've always been a people person, but I don't think I've ever focused on like intensely focused on relationships, like with my friends, my family, my significant other, whatever it is. Like yeah, like I want to be there, but like I think truly like fine tuning, like listening to those people, it really showing up for those people, like what that means to actually be present for those folks, like it is something I'm trying to like learn how to do better. Because like I can like say I'm gonna be there for people, or I can show up presently, like yeah, here I am. But like we were talking about this recently of like I rather not show up for you nowadays if I can't give you my 100%. Like I'm sick of coming over here on Mondays and like you have my respect enough to know that like I can't come over here after a long day of work and us to sit down and edit and I'm gonna act like a little bitch about it. Like I'm just not in the mood. I'm just gonna tell you from now on. Like thankfully, like I'm at a point where I can just do shit on my own. But like I need to be like and that's not fair to you and it's not fair to me either. You know, like I should be okay with setting a boundary. Like, dude, I'm just not feeling it today. Like that's okay.
Yeah.
It's perfectly fine. Now I do still have to like respect the fact that like, and I'm just thinking of the pod in general, but like, yeah, we're still working on shit. Yeah, I'm just gonna do it at home and like respect you enough to like, yeah, I could use a little time at home, like up in my room quietly working on stuff, but I also need to like do it too. So there's a little bit of that. So I think it's whether it's that or like getting to know my girlfriend more in the sense of like just a lot of shit, man. Like, God, you think it's so easy. oh, I'll get in a relationship with a beautiful woman, everything aligns, we're perfect for each other, we've been looking for each other our whole life. That's it. You don't have to do anything else. You just go with the flow. That's not it at all, dude. Oh my God. It would everyone would date my girlfriend if that was the case. Yeah. But like it's so tough, dude, because like it's no gripe on her. She does the same thing with me. It's like every day is like all right, like okay, here's 20 buttons. Okay, what if I press that? Oh, now she's not going to talk to me for 2 days. Okay, all right, so that button's off limits in this situation. Okay, next one. Boom. Okay, cool. She didn't overreact. Oh no, sorry, baby. You don't overreact. Okay, I overreact. Fuck. Okay, so she did it. She didn't, flip out the way I acted that situation. Cool, I can
Yeah.
get away with it. Oh, okay. So like, if it's Saturday and she has a work assignment, she has to get done. I think I could sneak the extra beer with Brandon. But if she had ordered dinner and we had planned to watch a television episode and I go for that extra beer with Brandon, I'm probably in the doghouse. Little things like that, where like it's a whatever example it might be. So that's the focus for me moving forward. I think I didn't go too much on the mind, body, soul. I think it for me, I gotta tune up the mental game, man. Like the spirituality for me, it's always been there, it always will, and it is more in tune when I am focused on like my mental state. Now I will say for the mental state, like I think it all starts with my body. It is like it's my body. It's body first, then mental, spirit comes naturally for me. So I think with that being said, I do need a support system. Going back into like the relationship side of it, like I need to be more present for those people to help me kind of build up who I am.
I think that's absolutely wild that your top number one was body. I hit the spirit, and then you came around and you're like, yep, mine's mind. And
Yeah.
like, so all three of us like having that balance, arguably, that like, all right, that's the thing you're focusing on. This is the thing I'm focusing on. He's focusing on that. And then it's like, now we can be inspired by each other
Yeah.
to those other things that weren't like our main focus, but need to have that full circle, like balance of them all. Cause like,
Right.
that's like, I said it, like, I have gratitude for them all, but like, I'm so focused on like cultivating that like source energy that no, I mean, what the hell? Like, that is always going to be there. Like this mind, this body is more present in this situation right now. So like,
Yeah.
yo, dude, maybe reevaluate that a little bit.
Okay.
No, me, I'm saying, you know?
Okay. I thought you were giving me some sweet advice. I was like, okay. Dude,
No,
geez,
I'm
this
not
is kinda
shooting
weird.
at you,
Yeah,
dude.
damn, all right.
I just looked at you. I guess I could have looked at the camera and said that. Sorry.
Yeah. No, I think and the one other thing too is like trying to I wrote like mastery is the word I came up with, but it was like trying to understand like yeah, I am good at things. I'm good at a lot of things. Like what is it? Am I okay with that, or like how can I learn to be like next level? Like I know I'm capable of next level, and we've talked about this, and like God, talk about like fucking smoke up your own ass, but like I genuinely believe if you put something in front of me, like I can figure it out and I can be good at it. So I'm good at a lot of things. Now, what's the next step to like hone in on specific things and become great at them?
Yeah. What are the things that are going to take you to that next place?
That's why I think it's the mind conversation for me. It's like it's a mental. I have this like there's a whether it's mental block in situations or just like getting in front of my or being in my own way or whatever it might be. So that's why I have to harp on mine, because like a lot of these things where it's like cool, like that's what I want to focus on. Like it's 90% mental for me.
So with the body, what are you pursuing then?
Honestly, I keep getting signs left and right that I need to start getting back in the gym and whatnot. And I feel like body is, like I said earlier, it's just my avenue to get to the rest of them. Like I know I'm on a ticking time bomb of like arthritis. First thing to feel it is my like ring will start going down my elbow. I get tendonitis in both elbows and both wrists. So if I don't start getting back to the gym soon, in about probably like 3 months, I'm going to start feeling it in different places. But honestly, it just like opens everything up to live a better life whenever I'm taking better care of my body. Right now I'm being lazy. There's no way around it. I'm being lazy. Whenever I leave work, I used to work those 12s. I definitely, if I had enough time to go work out after working 12s, I have enough time to work out after working 9s. So there's like, I'm just being a lazy piece of shit.
It's
yeah.
You said it, I didn't, but you know. No, it is. No, and I'm only thinking that from my perspective is like that. There, dude.
Titty called me a lazy piece of shit. Can you believe that?
What a jerk.
No, you called
And
me.
he's supposed to be more mindful
Yeah.
right now.
Come on, man. Listen to this. Spirit
When you
over here.
said it, I recognized that I was the lazy piece of shit. Like it's like that is the answer. Like the working out, like that's why it's like mental. It's like for me, it's like I'm not waking up at 6 a.m. to work out.
Fuck that.
Why
No.
would I do that? Yeah, fuck that. Why fuck that? Because I don't want to. Why? Answer: you're a bitch.
I was gonna go ba-ding da-ding, daily double.
Yeah. No, I like thinking about what I might lean into a little more is just like as far as like, you know, the workout side or whatever it might be. It's just like it's getting over that mental hurdle of like we've talked about that too, is like trying to just get out of the way of your emotions. And that's man, that's tough. It's easier to do that. I didn't mean to cut you off about talking the body a little bit too. I know you want to work on your gains, but yeah, I just think that like that just fucking Nike, just do it attitude. That's such a
You mean Shia LaBeouf? Just do it. No, I'm
yeah,
kidding.
but it's like I mean, like there's something to be said. I'm not a Nike guy, but like there's something to be said about it.
No, there's a lot to be said about removing yourself from the emotion of the actual activity that you're doing.
And I think there's one of you said it at one point, or I've heard it recently. Getting out of your own way. It's like honestly, that's huge.
You know
No.
what's funny is I think he's actually the one that said it.
Maybe
I'm pretty sure you're.
That happens a
actually
lot where I'm
the
like,
one
oh
who
wow,
said
that's
it.
pretty insightful. It's like you're the one who wrote that. Huh. Okay.
great point, Brandon.
I'll sit here and talk to myself just like, oh yeah, nice work. Yeah, thank you very much.
That's the next installment of the Dismount podcast. Is Brandon's gonna sit in all three seats and talk to himself for an hour.
Yeah, we just got to make it so that he can literally move to the next seat.
You know, we could design a nice like railing system that's designed like old ladders in libraries where it just, you just and then I'm gonna get super fat like in Wall-E.
Oh, okay. You're just on the
Oh.
track. Yeah.
I'm gonna fall out. Hey, help!
Harold.
Someone put me back on track.
Damn, nice pun. I don't know if that was on purpose. So yeah, need to work on the body.
Yeah. So Zachary, Master Zachary, Zach's been called a master. Zach frustrates people like me because he's instantly good at everything he does.
I mean,
What's the last thing that you weren't good at when you started doing it? Like you're like, oh man, I suck.
I don't really think there was
See,
anything.
exactly. So annoying.
I'm sitting over here
It's so
fucking
annoying,
up Legos
dude.
when he comes over and he's like,
So annoying.
yeah,
And
this is how you make a number 8.
Like I'm sitting here thinking over the last like 12 years I've known you, like, okay, what exactly had Zach like? I can't name a damn thing. I really can't. Like, what
I
do you
mean,
think? Like, what
When I started kayaking, I stupidly tried to splash Anastasia and like put my paddle down in and was like, "Oh, I'm gonna splash this bitch. This bitch is all."
that was just
all
a dumb
chilling."
decision.
That was just a dumb decision.
yeah,
It
you're not
wasn't that I
bad
was
at it.
bad. It wasn't that I was bad at kayaking, but like it's just I've done stupid things.
Now, do you put yourself in a situation to not?
I try to put myself in situations that push my boundaries, and
Okay.
I don't end up like, for
I
instance,
guess
like I look back at
you're not wrong. Yeah,
I look
I'm
back
not
at
picking
like
on you. I'm just,
the 103 mile, like that first bike ride that I did. Like I knew at mile 70, 80, like, dude, you do not need to go any farther. If you try to push the whole way to the rest of this, like you could just sit here and call someone and say, hey, can you come pick me up? Like I can't do this remaining 23 miles. But no, I was like, I'm going to push through this. I told myself I was going to do this today. I'm going to accomplish this, which at any cost, this is what I set out to accomplish today. So like I've fallen on my face super hard, like thinking I was going to go be awesome at that lacrosse tournament and literally sucking ass, like going to a pickleball tournament. Like I definitely I'm good at stuff on my own, or I'm good enough to be able to compete. But that's where like that was for me, like the thing that I'm focusing on right now is like I want to push the limits of age and competition. And I want to start doing these bike races. Like I have that calendar on the from 2023 still up on my door that when you open it,
Oh, yeah,
because
yeah, yeah.
I had it all mapped out. I was going to go to
I was
national.
actually looking at today wondering why you still had it up.
I was going to go to nationals for the gravel racing, and I was all geared up. I was like, man, I'm going to go do this. I don't care if I literally suck ass and I'm the last person. I'm going to finish that and I'm going to do it. And just finances and other stuff came into play. I also keep that one up because in October, you literally wrote Derry is ready to go, and we circled it. And so I've been holding that up there too as like a reminder for you. Like 2 years ago, you said like it's time to fucking ball out, and just as a
It also shows you how quickly time moves.
Yeah.
And that's when we start hitting our stride a little bit too, though.
it really was. Like I feel like that was a time frame when I really started to like become more and more aware. Like I feel like I've had this like goofy awareness, and like I joke about the fact that like I've had this arguably ability to like read patterns before they're coming. Like I told Doa this past week, like I literally could tell that something was coming with the whole COVID stuff, went to Costco and literally had 2 carts, bought the ice chest, bought all the stuff. Like I was the guy who was giving everybody toilet paper during the pandemic, because I literally stocked up, and to the point where the people at Costco were like, do you want to sign up for the corporate black card? Like you bought a lot of stuff here. Like, are you buying this for a restaurant? I'm like, nah, something's coming and I don't feel good about it. So I'm just stocking up.
It's for my ass only.
It's for my ass only. I put up a lot of shit. Leave me alone, lady.
And so
If you've seen the smoothie shits that I produce, you would know this is only a week's worth. I'll be back next Sunday.
So I've had this weird ability to be able to like read patterns, but I definitely was not aware or in tune with myself. And now I'm so close. Like, I don't know, this past couple weeks have been really weird of like fully feeling in sync, like feeling like something's happening, something's moving in a right direction. Doesn't feel good because it's a lot of massive change. And some of it's tied to a lot of emotional stuff too. But it's like, why do I feel like at ease right now?
Yeah.
Like it just, everything feels like it's sinking.
So if you're getting close to feeling like you're tuning up, what do you think the master level of that is? Like what does a master of self science look like?
Someone who can completely flow through life without being attached to really anything. And that's hard to put like grasp on it, because arguably to me at that point in time, you have now ascended yourself back into the complete creator of your reality.
Yeah.
And at that point, like, what else is there?
Yeah.
That's so like the getting all the way to that self-mastery of literally knowing that you're the universe, experiencing itself, watching itself experience itself. And now I've fully grasped that. I can literally already see the signs as they pop up. I'm not needing, angel numbers, or I'm not needing signs from the universe or all this stuff from like spirit guides or any of this different, phrasing of whatnot. And it's just, I'm just flowing, and I'm just water at that point in time.
Yeah.
And like, so it's just bold to say that, because at that point in time, like, it kind of ruins it all in some ways, in some aspects, because there's nothing else to accomplish. There's nothing else to become. You've hit the end peak, and the only thing at that point is arguably the cycle of life of now it's time to basically arguably die or completely kill that off and start the whole cycle all over again.
Yeah. Oh shit, maybe that's why I just like shit being out of whack all the time.
Well,
maybe
because
maybe I'm addicted to just like, oh, I'd be bored otherwise. You know, I just like a
no,
little
yeah,
excitement in my life.
you hit the nail on the head.
Yeah.
I'm thinking that exactly,
Yeah,
dude.
yeah. No,
It's crazy.
yeah. Um, I don't have too much to add to that point either. I just think like what I mentioned earlier, like the curiosity and courage. Like I think like cool, like you like the curiosity's base level. Like you have to want to do it, and I think everyone's genuinely curious. Now, like, having the courage is ability to go out and be okay with change. Like it's actively seek it out. Like those are things that like I'm. I don't know, man. Like I try to be pretty easygoing with myself, like in the sense of like, okay, like man, 32, like seen a lot in 32 years, dude. So like, it's okay if you don't want to actively seek out more chaos, but like, I'm gonna like, what's the alternative? Like, I'm either just gonna, I become content and sit there and just like, this is peak Derek. It's all downhill from here, and I'm not okay with that, whether I like to think I am or not. So I think thinking of someone who's like master level, like being in tune with themselves, it's just being okay with change and actively seeking out as opposed to it happening to you, because change is good, it's inevitable. So actively seeking it out before it slaps you in the face is something that I think would be a way for me to get to the next level.
I find comfort in still sometimes getting frustrated with like traffic. Like I had a guy who literally like I know that's so weird to like, but I find comfort in the fact that I still get pissed off when someone cuts me off that should not have cut me off. Like there
Yeah.
was no reason. Like I was coming down to your house on Friday, and literally there's nobody behind me in the lane. I'm on 79 here trying to get on to 376. There's a guy in the middle lane. I'm already in the lane for what's going to be hitting the off ramp. And I know that this guy can shoot the gap. Like I've done it myself before. So I know there's enough room to shoot the gap, but there's not enough room for you to do it cleanly and safely when there's no one behind me and you could just get in the lane behind me
Yeah.
or get behind me in this lane. Dude cuts me off, and I just, yo, you motherfucking piece of shit. And I get frustrated, and I'm just sitting there, and I'm like, I'm not running up his ass, but I'm sitting there going, you worthless son of, and I just start having all these thoughts, and I'm like, oh wait, I actually kind of feel comfort in the fact that I'm not at that mastery level. I'm like, all right, cool.
Yep.
Like I'm still here. Like I still get to have fun. I still get to experience this. Like for you, Tit, like what is that mastery level, dog?
For the overall self-scientist or for the body specific?
Just you in general. What is this? How do you feel about this question?
So also, I love what you said about the universe experiencing itself. I've never thought of it that way, and that's I was sitting over here, like my mind just like kind of just like started spinning. I was like, whoa, you need to think about that more often. I think a master self-scientist, first and foremost, masters their self-talk. I think that as we were talking about this episode, throughout the episode, I just kept thinking, wow, from what we're all talking about, it's like how the conversations we have with ourselves are huge. And I like to think about it. A good example is working out. Trisha finally shout out to Trisha. She finally got to the point where workouts are enjoyable. I'm like, honestly, it's going to take a long time because she's never like had like the strength training where it becomes enjoyable. I'm like, you have to do it for a long time before your body will adjust, and then your brain will actually look forward to it. So she's actually starting to look forward. It's been 3 months. So anybody who's looking to work out, just keep going, keep showing up. It's going to take time, but there's all kinds of self-talk I have for working out where it's like, okay, I don't want to do this. I don't want to go. I don't want to do it. No, I don't want to do. And that's like, just do 10, 1, 2, 3, 4. And there's so much that goes into your self-talk. And it's like, I've had like years and years and hours of self-talk while working out that is huge. Like to get you like, you're like, hey, I don't think that you can do 5 of them. It's like, bullshit. Don't think about it. Do 12. And then you do 12 and you're like, how the fuck? It's like, okay, remember that for next time. And like, there's so much self-talk that we really need to get better at. And I feel like there's a lot of people who don't know how to get better. And honestly, like books is a great thing to dive into. Audio books, regular books. But I think for me, the self-scientist who's a master in whatever way, whatever it means to you, is the person who's mastered the conversations they've had with themselves.
Wait, that is the absolute.
It
that's
always
the epitome.
he just thinks he don't want to talk anymore. Every time he talks, I go, "Shut up, Derek."
I'm just regurgitating what you guys say, to be honest.
No. Because
Nailed it.
honestly, like when I had that situation with that guy cut me off, and I'm sitting there like being all pissed off about it, and I'm like, I start shaming myself for thinking that way, and it's like, whoa, hold up, no. It was a perfectly logical response to what you had. There's no reason for you to now feel bad about. Oh, I'm basically saying this guy's worthless. Like that's a perfectly logical response to what he just did. That was honestly what he had just did was he honestly to me was thinking my life is worthless. If I get into a car accident right now, it is what it is. Like so sitting there like the self-talk, throw the hat in, dude. Just what the fuck?
Yeah.
That's fucking
Crazy.
oh my gosh. He's fucking
Also, there is, for public service announcement for the viewers, ANTs, automatic negative thoughts, and rational versus irrational belief. Just make sure when you have those conversations with yourself, you have automatic negative thoughts. ANTs in psychology is what they refer to them as. And then rational versus irrational belief. I guarantee if you look up rational versus irrational beliefs, you have at least probably like 2 of the irrational beliefs that you need to be thinking about the rational counterpart. One of them, anger makes sense. How does it make sense is where you should start. Like if you're struggling with anger, how does it make sense? Honestly, for all the viewers watching, you need to understand how the anger makes sense before you start that dialogue.
oh my gosh.
I just looked up. I just looked up irrational
Love
beliefs, awfulizing, magnifying negative details while ignoring positive aspects of a situation.
Well, there you are.
That's
You
a-
met him.
How you guys doing? How you doing?
My awareness is on 100 now.
Oh, Christ almighty, dude.
So
I know.
what's the downside to being a good or a master self-scientist?
I think one of them at the beginning of the episode was the Goggins. I love the
Goggins.
inspiration that I get
That
from
dude's
David
gonna.
Goggins.
We are on a fucking one-way ticket to David Goggins walking in.
He's gonna come whoop all of our asses. But yeah,
I honestly think he's going to challenge us at some point in time. He's going to invite us out to his ranch, and we're going to have to get goggined at some point in time.
he's gonna be like, all right,
The
fuck you
goggining.
guys.
The goggining is happening. The dismount goggining.
Oh my
He's gonna be
God.
doing pull-ups and like there's gonna be an ice bath at the bottom, and he's gonna be like, "You gotta go get up there before you get dropped down in the cold, bitches."
All right, so 2 things to follow up on. Matt Damon's listening to the podcast. Matt Damon, I'm going to punch you in the face. And David Goggins, we're coming to your ranch.
Don't make me work out.
I know you listen to the podcast, David Goggins.
But I would say isolation can be a negative downside of it. Like isolation and obsession. Those are 2 negative things that you could get down the rabbit hole. I was joking about like Goggins. Like you could be like, okay, I don't want my body to be like I would love to be in Ronaldo's shape, but I'm not going to go through all the shit that he has to go through to get there. I'd say isolation and obsession. If you go too far down the deep end where you're isolating yourself, you're not engaging in like the things that you used to enjoy, you're just like so strict that you get to the point of obsession. I think that could be like a really bad thing. But who knows? Who am I? Maybe it's a good thing. I don't know.
Yeah, I do have something to say about like if the end goal of fine tuning yourself is stability, and you're always fine tuning yourself, then you're never gonna find stability. Like that's what I'm thinking of. Like I do like I just mentioned how like comfort or complacency is like something I'm trying to stay out of, which is true. But like isn't that kind of the goal anyway? You know, so like I do look at that as a negative, and I think I wrote down isolation too. But like I do think there's something you said. Yes, you want to fine tune it, but when you know it's right, then you should just ride it out. It doesn't need to be always tweaking.
Yeah, enjoy it.
Yeah.
For the moment that it is.
Yeah.
And that was mine. Like mine was being present. Like not taking yourself out of the situation to where like what you said, like you arguably lose everything that you just went through because you weren't present through any of it. And you look back and you go, I don't even remember when I was only doing 20-mile bike rides.
Yeah.
oh shit, dude, did I literally just like, I had no gratitude and like understanding and like respect for the fact that I was, oh, now I can do 20s, now I can do 40s, now I can do 50s? Or am I just this absolute goober who literally is like, I'm just going to go do 100 miles today. I ain't never done 100 miles before, but we're going to do this shit and it's going to be fucking great. And then it's like, I'm sitting in a bathtub completely filled with ice and a full pizza. You know, like,
I'll keep the pizza, leave the ice.
like I'm just crippled trying to get home, and I'm just like, I can't even do this. Like, so losing all of that that I went through to be able to get to that place, or having more of an awareness as you're going through all of that type of stuff to like, okay, I can do 50-mile bike rides. No, the next step is not 100-mile bike rides. The next step might be 70-mile bike rides, then 90-mile bike rides. Then we'll add 10 more onto that and hit the hundreds. Like having that respect and gratitude, I feel like as the self-scientist, I want to be at the top peak. I want to be the best. I want to all that other shit. Like, why even do it? It's not even worth it. Like if I can just go off, like you said, like, oh man, I can only do 5 push-ups. But then I look at myself and I go, nah, you can do 12. And you just bang out 12. And you're like, but that was 7 extra push-ups that I just did that like, I lost all of that, what growth or awareness or understanding, overstanding, understanding that I might have got from what it would have taken to build up to that 12. No, I just absolutely just surpassed it all and like lost out on that journey that I could have had.
I like that word, overstanding.
Yeah.
I like
So like,
Oh, don't get him started.
so when someone is understanding, they're
Mhm.
standing under you.
Mhm.
So you basically arguably have power over top of them. Now, if I overstand something, so whether it be a topic or an idea, if I overstand
Mhm.
it, then I'm standing, I have the power, I have the control, I have the knowledge in my hands. And then understanding would mean that I understand it from an internal state versus being someone who's under control.
I'm definitely putting this in the back of my head for empathy. Catch that on empathy.
Yeah.
So, I want to give you guys both an opportunity to ride out on something if you want to. You have anything to it?
Yeah, just again, public service announcement. Pay attention to the way you talk to yourselves. Just monitor it. Maybe ask some other people who seem like they got their shit together. Ask them what kind of conversations they have with themselves. Maybe they haven't thought about it. There's some good juice there.
And if you think this guy who's constantly coming with absolute gold and you want to chat with him, he's in the Discord. He's in charge of the Discord now. Don't hesitate to hit that up, man.
Yeah.
What about you? Cuck Diggleone.
Sounds like a real name.
Matt Damon, I'll see you in the schoolyard, 3 p.m.
I love it. All right, y'all. Enjoy the ride. Don't put too much emphasis on it. And keep building that awareness because, oh my goodness, we got so much work to do. And we always continue to have work to do. So this was another great episode by the Dismount Squad here. We got Derek. I messed that up when I look at the camera instead of looking at you guys. We got Derry. We got Brandon. We got myself, Zach. And as we always say here, don't trust us. Trust yourself because you got all the answers. We're just going to help you unlock them through listening to our bullshit. That'll help you with your bullshit. Peace out, y'all.
Thanks, guys.
Later.
Thanks again for tuning into episode 38. Self-Scientists, where did our instinct go? Don't hesitate to catch the gang's next release. Labels. Get in the box. Which labels do you subject yourself to? Do you feel like a self-author, or do you feel like the people around you, they kind of write the narrative instead of you? Do you hold a lot of values relating to, social etiquette or empathy? What are some of those value systems that maybe we all need to throw away? Well, let's see how deep the gang goes on this next one. Don't hesitate to catch this next release. As always, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for riding along. And don't trust us, trust yourself.